Welcome to the Building Savages podcast.
New favorite fitness podcast.
I'm your boy Terrence, aka Building Beast.
I'm Evan Perez, aka EP.
On this podcast, we talk to our fellow coaches, athletes, and everyday gym goers about health, fitness, business, entrepreneurship, self growth, and so much more. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, or
We'll find you and make you smash the subscribe button. Hope you enjoyed today's topic.
One of the things that stand out to me is when people say, "When I train, I don't want to think." Now, like I get what they're saying when they say that, to where like you just kind of want to move, but training is such a cerebral thing too. Like you really do want to be intentional about the things that you're doing, because one, like especially when you start talking about resistance training, you're dealing with resistance and you're dealing with load and applied force. So if you're mindlessly going through these things, let's say you're not tensing in areas that you need to, you're not grounded, you're not focusing on the muscles that you're trying to engage, you're just gonna be putting pressure on your joints and just kind of jamming away at your joints over time. So though coaches, we are setting out the game plan for people and running them through their workouts, it's very important that you're mindful about your movements because you really want to know your intention on what you're doing this thing for.
Yeah.
So if I'm squatting, I know I'm trying to create, let's say barbell squatting, we'll just use that for example. I have a barbell on my back, which means I need to be intentional about creating tension with that bar on my upper back so that bar doesn't start to roll on me or worse, fall off of me. And I want to make sure that I am focusing on using my hamstrings and my glutes to pull me down in a squat and pushing with my glutes and my quads to stand me up on a squat. So within all this, there has to be some type of like intention behind the movement so we're doing it correctly and we're not going to cause more risk than reward with doing the exercise.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because like I always talk to my clients because it's the same thing constantly. It's like I hate having to reteach because there's no progression in reteaching because people don't pay attention because they're not mindful. Like
Yeah.
at a certain point, like our goal as coaches is you shouldn't need us forever. You shouldn't need us forever. You should be able to do this at a regular gym. You should be able to not have to pay us for like 10 to 15 years other than you enjoy our presence. Like
Yes.
our goal is to educate you guys. The issue comes when people aren't mindful about the intention of the movement or the way they need to progress, that they keep going backwards because they're not paying attention. Like
Mhm.
at a certain point, I shouldn't have to teach you how to dead bug. I have people at the gym that like just don't aren't focused and they don't know how to dead bug 2 years in. Like it doesn't feel like I'm teaching it wrong. It feels like you're just not paying attention because you're not mindful about the certain thing that needs to be going on. But because I have to stop and slow down, is I cannot progress. I cannot
Mhm.
show you how to progress if you cannot do the basic movements, the foundational movements. If you still do not understand how to goblet squat properly or where you need to sit exactly, I mean, it can be a coaching it can be a coaching problem. Like I can be 100% like on that. Like I can say like sometimes it's my fault. But at a certain point, like there needs to be, if you're there for a certain time, there needs to be things that are clicking. Things need to be clicking and you need to be paying attention. And again, like a lot of these people are high functioning people in busy places. Like they don't want to think. They want to come to us and they want to relieve stress. Cool. But you also came here for results and progression. It's if there's no intention behind the movements, there's no um remembering about technique, the little details that need to happen. If there's no thoughts that are going on in your head while you're doing a back squat, while you're doing a bench press, worse, you can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
At the
Especially
worst
if
part,
you're untrained.
exactly. If you're untrained and you're not even paying attention to what you're doing, like you're just gonna hurt yourself, which will make it even worse. So there needs to be like a light switch that goes on certain things, like, and eventually it happens. Some people like come into the gym, and I know you see it too. It's like they come into the gym and they're sort of start, but like they're not super intentional. They just come in, they lift, and they leave. And then at a certain point, they start seeing results. And like, oh, I'm actually feeling this. Like I understand, like that
Yeah.
light switch. When that light switch happens, progression happens, results happen. But until people start understanding that you need to be a little bit mindful of what you're doing and then have an intention with every movement and understand what needs to be stressed and what doesn't need to be stressed. And then you can start seeing progression. I think that's the problem. I think people just don't pay attention because they're not used to it. They don't want to. And that's a problem. My thought
Yeah,
process.
like there comes a point where the athlete still has to do their part. You
Yeah.
know, like this is your at the end of the day, this is your body that you're trusting a coach to guide into exercise, you know, and exercise can give you results or it can do the complete opposite, which can damage the body or regress the body if done improperly or if done with the wrong intention because you're not mindful enough to kind of realize what you're doing to yourself, you know, because like when we do exercise, we break ourselves down to build ourselves back up, but there's a way to break yourself down in the physiological way that it's supposed to be, where your muscles have to adapt to a new stimulus, or just breaking your body down because you're just literally just putting unnecessary stresses on your body that doesn't need to happen. So, as a coach, we have to also make sure it's engaging and fun for people to pay attention.
Yeah.
But there's also that part of the athlete wanting to engage and pay
Yes.
attention. Because for us, like we always know, like, all right, we have to stimulate certain people mentally to get our point across. So we have to figure out what that is. But there's also another point of just someone that literally just comes in a gym and are just resistant. And they
Yes.
just, you ever have like someone that just comes in and they're coming to you, but kind of are acting in a way where it's like, well, I know all the answers and I'm just gonna do it my way. So it's almost like, well, what are you here for in the first place? You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it just doesn't make sense. I
Okay,
haven't
you're
ran into
leaving.
that in a while, but I've definitely ran into that in the past to where you come into a place that offers guidance, but you it's almost like you just come here to do your own thing. And I just don't understand that logic.
I don't either. I think it's always funny when like so I have like this mindset. I I love giving advice. I love giving advice. It's my job. If you ask me a question on how to help you or what you need to get better, I will give it to you. At a certain point, when you ask the same question over and over and you take no action, I'm going to stop giving you advice
Yeah.
because it's starting to fall on deaf's ears. Like I have some clients that like they overtrain. It's like I don't understand why I'm not progressing because you're doing other training methods outside of here. You're killing yourselves. You need more rest time. You're right. Continue to do it. And I guess that it's a mental it's a mental block. You get me? Because like they think that they need to do more to, but like realistically, I'm telling them to do less. But they're coming to me for questions or like nutrition guidance. It's like, oh, like um, I don't even know where to start. Write your stuff down and I'll look at it. I have yet to have a client write their stuff down and look at it because they just don't want to do it. So like
Yeah.
at a certain point, asking for advice like falls on deaf ears because like I know you're just not gonna take it. Like what am I supposed to do with that? I'm gonna help you as much as I can, but until you take the action, and that goes back into training, until you start acting and
Yeah.
start being mindful about the things that you are doing to your body and for your body, there's no progression without that. And we can only do so much as coaches because we are there to guide. That's what the coach does. Coach guides you from point A to point B. But if you're constantly gonna pull on the fucking string and stop the ride because you want to do whatever you want, you're never gonna get there. You're never gonna get there. So start being a little bit more intentional with your movements. Start being a little bit more intentional with your nutrition. Start being a little bit more intentional with your lifestyle. And this all sounds like hard work, but nothing ever good is fucking easy.
Yeah.
And
And
years,
and the other word to really use too is like be present in all of it.
yeah, be
You
present.
know, like we understand that people do work out for other reasons outside of just like physiological health gains or quote unquote. But in your escape in the gym, also be present in that escape. Like there's nothing that bothers me more than someone who looks to go on their phone after every set. Not because they're logging their workouts or whatever, just because like they want to scroll through Instagram or they want to text their friends or, whatever the case. And it's like, if you continue, it's almost like you're looking for the rest after every set of work.
Yeah.
Like you should be earning the rest,
Yeah.
So
I
stay
think
present in your training and not just do something and be so quick to go to the outside world of what this session is supposed to be delivered for, because now you're losing the training effect and now it just becomes this like wave of mindlessness, and it's like, what are we doing here?
I think it also goes to the fact that like we lack attention spans and we lack the self-awareness to be present with ourselves. And
Yeah.
that's like a whole nother fucking topic, is like actually trying to be present with yourself. But yeah, it's funny. I have this one client. So I was demonstrating a exercise. He was 2 feet away from me. And I'm teaching like 5 other people to do it. Hey, do X, Y, and Z, do this, that, and that. And he's looking at me. This man is looking into my eyes. And I'm looking at him because I know he doesn't pay attention. I'm looking at him go back, just surveying, making sure everybody else is paying attention. It's like, all right, go. He's like, what? I was like, dude, you were looking at me the whole time and you got none of that. None. I was like, you mother, like, I'm not going to get back down and teach you. Like, it's hard. Like, I understand. And going back to the thing, it's like, I understand people have very stressful lives,
Yeah.
very stressful lives that take their attention away from everything else. I know. Yeah, I mean, I am not. I'm stressed. You're stressed. We're all equally stressed, and some people are stressed more than others. But okay, if you do not have a handle on being mindful in the things that you are looking for, or the things that you want, but yet you complain constantly about not getting there,
Yeah.
then something needs to flip. And if that doesn't flip, then what are we doing other than wasting time and effort and money to listen to me
Yeah.
make fun? Because I'm gonna make fun of you, come to my gym, and you're not. This is just my personality. But like, I'm gonna make sure that I do whatever I need to make sure that you are successful every time you come into my gym. But if you're not successful the other 20 to 24 hours out of the day, you don't rest, you don't do the things that I'm telling you to do. Like these things are not gonna happen. These things are not just gonna magically happen. You know what I mean, it's the same thing with like I deal with people with injuries constantly, and I'm like, hey, like, do this at home, do this, do this, do this, this, and it'll relieve stress. And it'll help your low back out, help this out. And then I see him the next day. It's like, did you do any of that? Nope. Did your back still hurt? Yes. How can you live like this? Constantly
Yeah.
have issues and do nothing about it, but then like expect for it to get fixed. You know what I mean? Like, even if I like, hey, like, I think you have a predisposition to it, I need you to go somewhere else to figure this out because I
Yeah.
cannot help. You know what I mean? But they'll still come to me and like I have to work around it. And that's normal, you know what I mean? But if you don't go out and fix the issues that you have, you know what I mean, then I cannot progress because I'm more worried about re-injuring an issue. So things need to we gotta turn on every now and then. Like, I'm just not saying all the fucking time. If you're in the gym with us, flip it. If you want to success, you need to flip it. If you want to lose weight, flip it. If you want to gain muscle, flip it. Because you not paying attention and not being self-aware enough is the issue that a lot of people have with struggling to find success in fitness because they don't flip
Yeah,
it over.
because if you're not self-aware, now you're not really looking for the answers.
Exactly.
And that's super, super important to where, all right, if I know I'm trying to build muscle, I'm intentionally going into my workouts trying to build muscle. So now I'm searching for the answers and I'm searching for the blueprint and I'm searching for the process to build muscle. If I'm trying to lose fat and I'm intentionally going into my health, my fitness, my routine with the idea of losing fat, now I'm going to be searching for all the resources and answers to lose fat. So if you're just mindlessly doing things, and there was like, where's the intention at? Because you don't know. So you're just kind of going through the motions, you're all over the place. And we give grace, everybody has their day. Sometimes you have your moments, but it's more so like the repeat offenders. After a while, it's just like training isn't just this run into the wall and not think about it mentality if you're trying to get results. Like because as soon even if you have the coach that handholds everything for you, right? They give you everything to do to a T. You don't even understand why you're doing anything the way that you're doing it, and you just follow along. At any point that you lose that situation, you don't understand how you did anything.
Yeah.
And it's like you do have to at least understand some basics and some foundational fundamental stuff of how to get to certain results, because now you can do your part better, and it actually makes it easier on the coach that you're working with, to get the result that you're looking for. You never want to become that dependent. Like you always want to have some sort of independence and some sort of the word I'm looking for is like a self-initiative,
Yeah.
self-serving, to be able to get what you're looking for out of this, and knowing what you're looking for is key.
Yeah. I think it's yeah, I think going back to the deep root of everything is like the lack of self-awareness. Like
Yeah.
once the moment people become self-aware of the actions or inactions that they're taking towards the certain goal that they want, then the light like turns on. Like, but until you figure out like all the reasons that it's not working, is most of the time your fault. I mean, I'm not saying like it's not our fault also. It's the things that you were doing outside and the things that, and this goes with anything. A lot of the stuff that's going on in your life, you can't take blame. No, you're not blaming it. You shouldn't blame anybody else but yourself. Until you figure out what the inactions and the actions that you're taking that are not leading you to the direct position that you guys want to go, then you can start moving forward. But people want to stop at a line and like want to go straight, and they can't even fucking find the fight like lane because the light's off. You know what I mean? Like you have to go back to fucking find the light. You know what I mean? That's it. I'm going in circles, but
Yeah, we get what you're saying though, but like to sum everything up though, it's like in terms of being mindful with your training, you want to be mindful of what your intention is, you want to be mindful of your goal, be present in your sessions, be present in your nutrition, be present in your mental space, and really like search for the answers to the things that you're intentional about. Because then you'll start getting the results that you're looking for. But you should never go into training and you should never go into exercise without being intentional on your movement, because that's going to do more damage than good over time. And then you're also going to find yourself not achieving the things that you want to achieve because you're not um you're not proactive enough to reach it.
yeah, just act like more of the story. If you guys just act, like, if you just a little bit more self-aware, a little bit more present, and you just act on the things that will help, you'll find success. I promise.
Yeah, and you'll make it easy. If you're working with a coach, you'll make it easier on your coaches. If you're on a program, everything will make more sense to it. And then you'll really start to reap the benefits of what true exercise and fitness starts to look like for you. So definitely be mindful. Anybody that's building muscle, you want to really be intentional on the muscles that you're trying to use. Because if you aren't, then you could be doing more harm than good, or you actually might be utilizing other muscles and compensating other muscles and not knowing that, hey, this is what I really should be working. If I'm squatting and I know squats are to build my quads and my glutes, and I feel nothing but lower back when I'm squatting, then I know now, like, hey, that's not right, but I'm gonna search for the answer to find out why my back is always bothering me when I squat and not my quads and my legs and my glutes and all these other things. So just to give a little example what we mean when we're just saying like being mindful of stuff and just like making sure that you're searching to do things the right way and getting the results that you're intending to get.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank
Stay
you
on it.
guys for listening to another episode of the Building Savages podcast. Make sure you catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, set those notifications. Make sure you stay locked into all future content.
Yes, sir.